Warman is one of Canada's fastest growing cities, and it's just minutes from Saskatoon. Saskatoon Realtor Parker Baumgartner was born there, and he's going to tell us the reasons why you should consider living there.
This is the Saskatchewan Real Estate Podcast, the show that highlights Saskatchewan real estate. Looking to buy your first house, your next investment property? Subscribe to never miss an episode. Here's your host, Ron Caroni.
Welcome back to the Saskatchewan Real Estate Podcast. I'm your Saskatchewan mortgage professional, Ron Caroni, and today we're joined by Saskatoon Realtor Parker Baumgartner, or I should say, Warman Realtor. Parker, we're really happy to have you on the show today, expanding on the wonderful community that is Warman, just outside Saskatoon. So thanks so much for taking the time today, Parker.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for having me, man.
So it looks like we're going through about 4 or 5 reasons here, Parker, why Warman is such an amazing community. And for those of you who don't know, Warman's just outside Saskatoon, but it's growing really fast in a really exciting place. And we're going to dig more into that. And we'll kick it off right away here, Parker. And let's touch on population growth. Can we expand
Absolutely.
on Warman as a growing community?
Yeah. So Warman, over the last 5 years, it's grown substantially. If anyone in the Saskatoon area knows Warman whatsoever, back in 2006, it was said to have maybe about 7,000 people. And now being over 12,400, that's a substantial rate growth of increase of 75%. So
that is really incredible. And even from that side, we're not talking about condos. These are a lot of like beautiful houses also going up in the town of Warman as well.
Yeah. So lots of new residential neighborhoods. They continue to be built over above average price and at an average pace. But yeah, new businesses are locating there as well as the community leisure facilities. And they keep expanding to keep up with the pace of the population growing. So
let's dig into the businesses a little bit, Parker, because even when you go from 7,000 to 12,000, that gives you a lot of opportunity to set up a business and obviously grow with the community. Let's touch on some of the businesses that you can find in Warman.
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of business growth and expansion, it creates a lot more jobs and a lot of demand for jobs. And Warman as a community has a continuous effort to find ways to serve those future businesses. And yeah, so Warman has its business growth is substantial. And then they also have a tax abatement policy for anything, any different opportunities to invest based on new construction, renovation, and opportunities for investors as well.
So if I'm a person who's looking to grow a business in Warman, you would say that there are pretty good opportunities there. Are they more or less than what you'd find in Saskatoon? Do you have a personal take on that, Parker?
I wouldn't say more or less, but Warman being the growing community that it is, definitely a lot of option and a lot of growth for that for sure.
Awesome. One thing that you had written down in your notes here, Parker, and I thought this was something that's a great point to touch on, is excellent schools. Now, for a lot of people, education becomes the most important thing for their kids. So I guess this kind of ties into someone who's maybe considering to choose Warman as a place to live. What can we say about the educational opportunities in Warman?
Yeah, absolutely. So Warman, they have multiple education opportunities from pre-K all the way up to a master's level that you can achieve with the Great Plains College. Me being from Warman, I grew up there, elementary school, high school, graduated and everything. There's lots of post-secondary options and tons of educational institutions as well.
Awesome. What can you say about your personal experience of like being a student? We can't even call it a town anymore. We're talking about a small city, but as opposed to growing up in Saskatoon, but growing up in a smaller community, Parker.
Honestly, it's kind of crazy. I still call Warman the town of Warman just because when I grew up there, it was small enough where my grade 3 dream was to meet everybody in the town because it was so small. But now it's just grown so much and so many options and just tons of it. So it's a great community to be a part of as well.
Wonderful. And if we're talking about young families and looking for a place to kind of have your kids raised, a lot of that is also tied to activities and different things that you can take in. Now, being a smaller community, you're close to Saskatoon, but are there recreation facilities in Warman that we can also use for the purposes of, raising a young family?
Yeah, absolutely. So over the past decade, Warman has built the Legends Center. They have the Legends Golf Course, the new Holy Trinity School as well. Other businesses that have opened up as well. But for young families, there's lots of recreational sports. It's all operated independently through the town of Warman, city of Warman, sorry. And yeah, so lots of growth and opportunities for sure.
We'll give you the pass on that, Parker. Being from there, growing up there, I'd imagine that it kind of becomes so ingrained. And that do you know how long ago that Warman became a city, Parker? It hasn't been that long, has it?
It hasn't been that long. I'd say maybe in the last 6 years. I don't know the pinpoint date, but I would say probably around 2012, which is when I graduated. I think it was just transitioning into a city. So
awesome. I know we didn't kind of touch on it in the notes here, Parker, but I'd love to get your take. Being a realtor, what would we say is the comparison between Saskatoon Real Estate and Warman Real Estate? And if we were just looking kind of apples to apples, what would we say are the differences or the similarities between the two real estate markets?
Absolutely. Warman just being like almost a suburb outside of Saskatoon. A lot of people are very quick to jump at a place out in Warman. So it's a very hot growing commodity, and only being about 20 minutes out of Saskatoon, the commute really isn't that bad. And above average house pricing in Warman is still one of the better ways to go as well.
Right. And it is a double lane highway, so it's not as bad as maybe the other way to an Aberdeen or somewhere like that, where single lane, double lane highway in the winter is much nicer. So
absolutely.
Anything else to add on the community of Warman before we kind of wrap up the interview here?
I think just what makes Warman a great community is that it's great people, it's great businesses, and the services that it provides. With the growing rate in Warman, I'm a little biased because I'm from Warman, but I also would consider it a great place to live. So
understood. All right. I like to ask everyone who comes on the podcast this question. If you could go back to a younger version of yourself, and I know you're not that old, but I'll let you pick when you'd like to go back to. But if you could go back to a younger version of Parker, what advice would you give yourself?
I would say probably get some financial advice a little sooner on in life. Learn how to invest properly at a younger age and how to use that money and make it work for you.
Fantastic. Real estate investing is also one of those key things.
There you go.
You can also help other people with that side as well. Fantastic, exactly. Parker. If someone is looking for a little bit more information on Warman, or if they're looking to buy a home in the area, how can they get in contact with you?
Absolutely. Well, they can give me a call anytime. I'm most active on Instagram, so Parker B Realty. I'm always on my phone, so it's easy to contact me if you want to give me a call. I work for Remax Bridge City in Saskatoon, and I'm always available for you. So
wonderful. Thanks very much for your time today, Parker. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on.
Thanks for checking out this episode of the Saskatchewan Real Estate Podcast. If you liked it and found it informative, do us a favor, help us grow the channel by hitting the like and subscribe button. Until next week, I'm Ron Caroni, your Saskatchewan mortgage professional. Bye for now.